Welcome, people of the World Wide Web. So it's Cypher Sigma here, and it's another collection of video. So these are the basically almost weekly videos where I go through a series or a line of my toy collection. Just mention all the videos, just mention all the figures that I have, and just showcase each one and you know, and if there's any stories or anything to go to it. So this episode, as you will know, is Captain Planet and the Planeteers. Yes, I know a lot of people don't really add the Planeteers on there, but yes, that is the TV series. This is a creation for Hanna-Barbera from the, I think it's Hanna-Barbera from the 1990s. So initially it ran for 6 seasons. It ran for 4 under the guise of Captain Planet and the Planeteers, and then they did 2 seasons of the New Adventures of Captain Planet. I never realised that. You can kind of Google and look at stuff online. It ain't the greatest. So basically this was a series with the whole concept of the cartoons going to, they had to have kind of a bit more friendly, a bit more positive messages on it, and this is very much where this series was. It was 5 young kids given 5 rings that had 5 powers, and when you combine them you created what is called Captain Planet, a kind of super being, and he fought basically bad guys who were trying to pollute or deforestation or doing all these bad things for the environment and related to that, and that was where the themes come from. The main lady who protected the Earth was called Gaia. She was voiced by Whoopi Goldberg. That's about as much as the voice talents I know. So we shall get into the figures now. So first up we have Kwame. He's from Africa, as the title intro says, and he has the power of Earth. So this is what the main figure looks like. Now there are different variations of Earth. Some had backpacks and stuff and pegs that you could peg stuff into. Some had a little light gimmick. My Kwame doesn't. My main incentive was just to get the figure. Obviously, besides accessories, they did come with a little power ring as well. So his little, very tiny ring that you can't really make out there. They did kind of have a kid-sized version with the figure. Obviously, all these little accessories are lost. So that is kind of Kwame. He is the power of Earth. Obviously, quite Earth tones with his costume. So then we had Wheeler, who had the power of fire. So this is what I've said about little gimmicks. So you'll see he has a little window there, and he has a little lever here that you would put it, and it flashes like a flint inside to make it flash. Obviously, that mechanism doesn't work anymore, unfortunately. He was from North America, I believe. So that's him. So quite good. I found some G.I. Joe bases that I have some of the figures on, but obviously it stretches if they don't have a big enough wide stance. I don't want to put too much pressure on their hips. Linka from the Soviet Union. So the girls seem to be quite hard to find. I was quite fortunate I found them quite cheap, but complete or stuff, they don't come up that often as far as I'm aware. Again, what I was saying, she has a peg in her back. She had the power of wind. Not after, she's had some tacos on it the night before. Then after Linka we had Guy. So she had the power of water. Again, she, like Linka, has a little peg hole for like a little backpack accessory. Again, I don't have them. I'd say I was just picking up the figures. The boys were really easy to find. It was the girls that seemed to be really expensive. I found them quite cheap. It must have been like 5-10 quid each, so it wasn't too bad. And the final one is Marty. Unfortunately, mine has a little bit of mark on his knee. He's from South America, and he has heart. So he's kind of the young, free-spirited person who is in touch with nature. Has a little monkey in the cartoon. I don't know if you ever had it as an addition to the figure. And obviously he was kind of the caring one of it. Obviously, and when these 5 put their powers together, they summoned Captain Planet. This is there was quite a few different variations of Captain Planet. As most figures know, he's the main protagonist, so that's what they want. Mine kind of has a voice thing. It doesn't work. I need to take it out and just sort the batteries out, and he kind of has a flashy gimmick. Oh, it's not. There is a sound, and obviously this is meant to flash, but it doesn't. And obviously he has these little lightning effects to kind of add into that. And for the most part, he is completely does have 1 or 2 little marks where it started to rub off on him, but I kind of have him in the center and the others around him. So obviously with any good guys or any cartoon, you need kind of bad guys to go with it. So they kind of had really silly names like they do in the 90s. So this is the first bad guy. He's called Hoggish Greedley, obviously because he looks like a pig, as you can tell on his face. I say no accessories, has a few little black marks on his back and a little red mark on his leg. But for the most part, he is quite good, quite a bulky character. Again, because in the series they're portrayed quite like this without the accessories, I'm not too fussed at getting them. Plus, as I've detailed in an earlier video, obviously to find the stuff complete or not complete, you know, you go down a rabbit hole. I mean, I think most of these figures are like 10 quid, I would say, per figure. If I go for the accessories or complete, you're looking probably 30, 40, 50 quid. And it then gets costly, you know, I more or less completed my set for probably under £100, whereas I'd be looking like probably near to 1,000 if you want to go. So then we have Sly Sludge. This is the only figure that does unfortunately have some sun fading to him, so he has unfortunately been placed somewhere in the sun for a fair year. I mean, these are 30-year-old figures, so the fact that only one of them really has bit damage is quite fortunate. I would like to pick up a better version of him, maybe if it had some accessories or something, but we shall see. Always on the lookout, always diving into bins. And he's basically kind of a pest man, where he's dressed with his boiler suit and gloves and that. Then you had Dr. Blight. So she came with a computer in the cartoon. I think it was a screen or something comes with her. Again, I've got no accessories. Kind of the feet, which is quite surprising because this is I think one of the only toy lines that had quite a few females in it. Obviously you had Linka, Iggy and Dr. Blight, and all of them were released with the first wave of figures, so it was quite surprising that we got all of these. But nice to figure, very jumpsuit, very 90s-esque, or not jumpsuit, kind of tight classic suit. Then we have Venomous Scum. So the only figure I have any accessories for it, he has kind of as you may be able to hear that, so you can suck water up into his poisonous backpack and it shoots it. At the end of the day, he was kind of a rat villain figure, a bit like the Rat Man, Rat King from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So yeah, he does spread these toxins and that, so I agree with having him with a gun, but I think he was more menacing when he was on his own, and I think he could, in one of the earlier episodes, turn people into rats. I'm not sure if that was his power or it's just a chemical he came up with. And then the final one, and the reason why I say to him, is Duke Nukem. Yes, not the computer game guy. This is another guy. Very similar saying, and they did have to change the title of the game slightly because they thought there was copyright infringement from this figure, but it turned out not to be the case, and it was everything was returned. He is kind of radioactive, a radioactive guy. He can glow in the dark. So if you put him up to a light and then you put him into a dark area, he will glow. There is an alternate version of him with like a Hawaiian shirt. Can be very expensive. So you know, if you're looking around and you see this guy with a Hawaiian shirt and it's cheap, pick it up, I would advise. But that is all my figures for Captain Planet and Planeteers. As I say, no accessories, no figures, vehicles. There was a few of them, but they're just so big. Captain Pollution, which was the alternate version of this guy. There are some toys out there. I don't know if they're customs or it was very few that were produced. But, you know, it would have been nice to have the full set and a Gaia figure. But Gaia being, you know, the main woman who wasn't really seen on screen, she was the only one that didn't really get released, which is kind of been set in the same way as most of the other cartoons. We always didn't get one or two of the women. But yeah, that has been my complete collection of Captain Planet and the Planeteers. Do you remember watching this cartoon, or do you have any of the toys? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below. I've been Cypher Sigma Toys, and I shall see you in the next one.